The purpose of this video is to inspire people, give people hope that might be struggling right now. I'm not showing my face. I have a reason for this, and it's basically because of shame related to alcoholism. So I'm gonna start when my alcoholism really took off. So I've had addiction problems before. When I was about 25 years old, I became addicted to opiates. I was a nurse at the time. I ended up getting my heart broken by getting dumped by my boyfriend. I was in intense pain. Like, some of you might think, well, that shouldn't have been that big a deal, whatever. But to me at that time, I was completely crushed. And I went to the doctor. I told them, I can't stop crying. I need help. I have to work tonight. Anyway, they gave me some medicine that didn't really help much. I think this all stemmed from me having a very low self-esteem, low self-image, low self-worth. I didn't think I was worth a damn, honestly. So I thought this guy was my only chance. So the pain continued, intense emotional pain. So I eventually started using opiates. And the first time I ever used one, the intense pain went away immediately. And I didn't understand how addictive and what a horrible choice this was to try this. But I was, feeling so horrible that I tried it because I wanted the pain to stop that bad. So I got addicted. First time I tried it, I was able to stop crying. I felt good about myself. I don't know, I just felt really good. And I'd like to say, before this relationship ended, I felt good too. I felt really happy about my life and felt really good about myself. I still had a low self-image, but I felt really good. So anyway, the opiates started, and from the time I first used it to the time where I got fired from my nursing job, it was short order. It didn't take long. And my life went to hell in a handbasket. I didn't understand addiction at that time. I didn't understand how I could be an addict. I thought I was a nurse. I'm from a family, no one in my family is an addict. How could I be an addict? So I was in denial about even being an addict. But eventually I was able to get the opiate addiction under control with medication. So let's fast forward about 10 years. I'm on the medication. I haven't used opiates. I can't say I'm doing good, because from my opiate addiction, I ended up losing my nursing license. So, I can't say I was really that good, but I wasn't using opiates. I was clean. So I met another guy at outpatient rehab place that I was going to on my own free will. I wanted to go. By this time, I had realized that, yes, I indeed was an addict. So, and actually it wasn't 10 years later. I met him, it was only a couple, 1 or 2 years later, and I met him. And we hit it off right away. We fell in love. He came from a background of addiction as well. He had a methamphetamine addiction, and he liked his marijuana. But at the time I met him, he was actually clean and sober because he was in a drug court program. So we were together a few months, and he graduated drug court. And the day he graduated drug court, he started smoking marijuana immediately. He came from a family that were addicts. His mom was an addict. He didn't know his dad. He had several sisters, and the majority of them were also addicts. Like I said, methamphetamine was the big one. So anyway, he started smoking marijuana again, quit his job. So basically, I was supporting him by doing work. I worked as a housekeeper at a outfitter, canoe rental, cabins, the little motel, campground. It was on the river. And I also was a shift manager at McDonald's. So in around 2010-ish, I started drug court because as a result of my addiction, I had done something really stupid when I was very sick from withdrawal. I had no idea at the time about any kind of medication. I didn't want to ask for help because I was worried about being judged. Plus, I didn't think there was help. I just didn't know. So I went to the doctor one day, and this doctor usually wrote me a prescription for anxiety medicine. And I knew that anxiety medicine would help with my withdrawals. So this particular visit, though, he either forgot or something, he didn't write the anxiety medicine on there. And I was desperate and like I had no energy, and I didn't say anything to him. I just left his office. No, I regret it. I was stupid. I was sick. Anyway, I left his office, and with my nursing experience, I thought, well, I'll just add my anxiety medicine that I normally get to this prescription. So I did that, and I spelled it wrong and was pretty much immediately caught. So this resulted in a felony, fraudulently attempting to obtain a controlled substance, my felony. So here we are, around 2010. I got into drug court. I was on the opiate blocker and, the medicine that helps with opiate addiction. I was on that by that time, and I was doing okay in drug court. And I'm with my boyfriend that I met at outpatient. He's pretty much not planning on working. So I worked, but I loved him. Like, I really loved him. Like, I felt like we were so good together. And anyway, I ended up getting pregnant, which I was happy about. But I didn't realize that I would not be able to take my medicine while pregnant. So I stopped taking the medicine, got really sick, felt freaking horribly miserable, went to a drug court approved doctor to try to get on a medicine that would be okay to take while pregnant. So did all that. It took about 3 hours. It was exhausting. The doctor chose not to give me any medicine, and then told my probation officer that I was drug seeking. Yeah, I was drug seeking. What the F? Like, yes, I was drug seeking for a specific drug, a medication. Back in 2010, they weren't like they are now. Like, they didn't understand any of this. I guess I don't get it. Anyway, so here I go. I'm still sick. Like, I want to use. I definitely want to use. I didn't know what to do. If you're not familiar with what drug court is, it's intense. You're watched like a hawk. There's requirements, like you have to work a full-time job. You have to attend a certain number of meetings each week. You have to go to court every week. And you have to call a number every day to see whether or not you need to take a drug test that day. So I couldn't take it after a couple days. And plus, you can lose your pregnancy from opiate withdrawals. And I was terrified of that. And I wanted to not be sick. Like, maybe I'm selfish. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm a piece of crap. Whatever. I did what I did. I'm an addict. So I decided to take matters into my own hand and went and got on a medication. It starts with an M. It's safe for use with pregnancy. And I went and did that on my own. I didn't get permission because this time I didn't want anyone getting in my way. I needed help. So I was just going to do it. I wasn't going to lose my baby because of these people. So I went and did it. But since I had to take drug tests, I was scared about failing and them finding out. So I had a method of how I would pass it without getting caught for a dilute. But by the end of, maybe after a few weeks, maybe a month or two, I finally had a bunch of dilutes in a row. At this time, I was sent to jail, but was permitted to leave jail to go to work every day as a shift manager at McDonald's. So I did all that, and after a while, now, in case you don't know, like pregnancy hormones, all the stress of everything, I may have went a little bit crazy, and decided one day that I wasn't going to go back to jail after work. So I absconded. So they finally talked me back into coming back. Everything would be fine, and then they would get me into an inpatient drug rehab until I delivered my baby. So I stayed in jail. No more work. I had to quit the job. Stayed in jail. Was given my medicine every day. A bed opened up at an inpatient facility, and I went and stayed there until I had my baby. But they had a stupid rule that And see, this makes no sense. This is why people are dying from this disease. So they had a stupid rule that you weren't, once you had your baby, you weren't allowed to take that medicine no more and stay in rehab. And they wanted me to stay. I would have stayed, but I wasn't going to go through withdrawals and get sick again like I was, that got me in all that freaking trouble again. So, well, actually, by this time, something messed up with the drug court. Like the original county that had the case decided to take the case back. And so my probation was violated. So at that point, I was like, F this, I'm not like, they're revoking my probation. I'm not staying in this stupid rehab and going through withdrawals and being their lab rat with my newborn baby. So I left the rehab. I went home. My probation was revoked. I was out of drug court. I was just on regular probation at this time. I continued to stay on my medication, but really did nothing else for my recovery. I just stayed on the medicine, and me and my boyfriend and our daughter just lived together and smoked pot. And that was about it. I felt very unfulfilled during that time. I was very depressed. Like, I just didn't feel like my life was good at all. I was depressed and I had severe anxiety. So I eventually was able to get on disability in 2014. I got on disability and lived on that until 2018. And 2014 was when the alcoholism started. Like, I never really had a problem with alcohol before, but looking back, I know that whenever I did drink, I drank as much as I could, as fast as I could, to get as drunk as I could. But I would do that, and then the next day I wouldn't wake up and drink. I would just not do it for a long while. So around 2014 or 2015, I just kind of took a shot of honey turkey and realized that, wow, I just love this feeling. I feel relaxed and I don't care about anything. And I became a severe alcoholic on honey turkey. That was the only thing I would drink. And it was those little airplane bottles. I would drink at least 10 at once, pass out, drink 10 more. It was really bad. I was extremely morbidly obese at this time. And I definitely felt like my boyfriend didn't love me anymore. Like, he wouldn't hardly touch me. He just acted so distant. But it eventually came out that he had himself a new girlfriend to support him. He met her at the gas station. So one day in 2018, everything came to a head. And he and we were actually both drinking. He also has and off and on had a issue with alcoholism as well. So 2018, a day in August, we were both drinking that day, and we got into a fight. And it turned physical, and the police were called, and the cop came and told him he had to leave, because, the house was my house. So he left and went and moved in with his girlfriend, and I was crushed. Totally crushed. Again, a relationship ended, and it was like some of the worst emotional pain I've ever felt. So a few days later, he wants to meet at the park so he can see his daughter. I'm still a severe alcoholic at this time, and so we meet at the park, and of course I've been drinking, but he hasn't. So we're at the park. My sister was there, and so I went in the bathroom, and our daughter she was pretty little still. She was maybe 5 or 6 years old, maybe 7. So I went in the bathroom to do a shot of honey turkey, and I had her with me, and then he caused a scene, started yelling. I don't know if he was saying, hey, she's got our daughter in the bathroom with her. I don't know what he was saying. Something bad. And there was a pavilion across the street from this park, and there was a family reunion going on over there. So he starts hollering, and a bunch of people from the family reunion run over to try to help. And it got bad. I was being very mouthy, telling them to mind their own business, blah, blah, blah. Someone told me things were about to get ugly, and I was like, well, they already are ugly because you're here, just mouthing off, being a stupid ass. Anyway, the cops got called, and I got taken to jail because one of the people told the police that I hit someone else, which was a bald-faced freaking lie. It was not true. It was not true. I swear on everything. It was not true. I didn't hit anyone. I was being mouthy and being dumb and all that, but I swear on everything that I didn't hit anyone. Anyway, I got taken to jail, and that was my ex's way of taking our daughter. And he kept her away from me, wouldn't let me talk to her, see her, anything, for almost a year. So, almost a year, I got deeper and deeper in my alcoholism until I finally decided that I had to get my daughter back. So, I did quit drinking at that time. I'm trying to think. Something's messed up here in this story. So, it was 2018 when he took her, and oh yeah, I know what it was. Okay, so I was able to get her back. This was 2018. I was able to get her back, like, visitations. I got to have her every other weekend, and got to pick her up from school, like, every other Wednesday or something. Spend a few hours with her. I was still drinking at that time. Like, I maybe had slowed it down a little bit, but I was still drinking. And I eventually, in 2020, is when I decided that I wanted to fight to get her back living with me. Because, like I said before, his family are methamphetamine addicts, and I know he would have no problem smoking marijuana around our daughter, maybe even offering it to her, because that's how his mom did to him. That's how he started smoking, was because his mom said, "Here, try this." And I didn't want that to happen to my daughter. Like, I was already scared to death that she was going to be an addict or an alcoholic like me. And I would have done anything to make her not be like me and have the life I've had. So, 2020, I finally was able to get sober. And July 17th of 2020 was my sober date. I was sober from everything. Marijuana, alcohol, opiates, everything. I took my medication. And a lot of people will try to make you feel shame about taking medication. And I'm here to tell you that that medication saved my life. It saves lives. So I don't think anyone should try to make anyone else feel like they're not doing recovery right because they take medication. I was sober. I decided I wanted to try to change my life. I was still on disability at this time. I decided to go and finish my associate's degree, which I had credits from before, so it didn't take me long. I only had to do like one semester to graduate. So I graduated with my associates, and I decided I wanted to keep going. So then I went and got a bachelor's degree. I graduated with my bachelor's degree in 2023. Also in 2023, once I had my bachelor's degree, I started working for a local mental health agency, community mental health place. Started working for them, making decent money. Decent money enough to where I didn't have to worry about money. I was so freaking happy. I was happy. By this time, I decided that I wanted to try to fight to get my nursing license back too. So I worked from July 2023 until December of 2024. In February of 2024, I had a relapse on alcohol. After you've had a few years clean and sober, you start to think, hey, other people do it. It's normal. It's totally socially acceptable to drink. Blow off steam with some alcohol. My best friend that I'd known forever, who also worked at the same company with me, and who has also identified as an addict and alcoholic in the past, drank. Like, she, and she didn't really have too much of a problem with it. She'd go out and drink maybe every weekend, but it didn't seem like it was causing her life too much trouble. So, at this time, I was also in the dating world, or trying to be in the dating world, trying to find someone. So in February 2024, I broke my sobriety and I drank. It did not take long for my drinking to get out of hand. And my best friend did influence me. I'm not blaming everything on her. There was a lot of things that came together. So at first it started out like one day of the weekend I would drink. And it slowly turned into both days of the weekend, some weeknights and the weekend. Then it turned into hair of the dog. Then it turned into not being able to function without it. Things took a turn towards hell whenever, in September, I was hanging out with a guy and he was a closet alcoholic. So he was an alcoholic, but he was never going to admit that to anyone or ever try to change it. His drink of choice was UV Blue, which kind of tastes like if you squeezed a Smurf into a cup, you'd have UV Blue. Anyway, tastes like Kool-Aid. So I'd go hang out with him, and he was a complete jackass. He was mean to me. He basically S.A. me, but I started liking him. I started wanting a relationship with him. Like, it was sick. So I'd go over there, we'd hang out, we'd drink together, and watch movies, or whatever. Anyway, one night in September, I went over there on a work night, and I actually need to back up just a little bit. Okay, so back when I was talking about my education, I need to add that before while I was sober, I wanted to pursue more education. I wanted a master's degree in counseling. So I got accepted into a school, and it also started that fall. So here I am working, going to school online to be a counselor, hanging out with this guy that treated me like dog crap, and drinking. Trying to balance all that. So one night in September, I went to his house, and I started hitting. I'd had a few shots of, by this time, it's weird, like back in the day, my drink of choice was honey jerky. This time around, my drink of choice was Fireball and airplane bottles again. So I had had a couple airplane bottles of Fireball on my way to his house. That was another thing that he never took me out. He always just, I went to his house to hang out. So went over there, had a few Fireballs on my way. And then when I got there, I was drinking his UV Blue, and I think I even brought a pith of UV Blue to share with him, because that was his drink, and we ended up getting into an argument. And he said something that hurt me very badly. He said, well, I think I had said something like, how come we never go out or leave the house or anything like that? And it transpired into him saying, what do you think, I'm going to be your boyfriend now? And that hurt me so badly that I went over and tried to smack him. And then he's like, get the F out. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to prove my point, and I'll get the F out. Plus, he was scary. I mean, he was a big old, tall, muscular guy. And, I mean, he was scary. Like, yeah, I felt threatened. So I got the F out. I tried to take a back road home, and I'm on this kind of back road, and I get pulled over. I get a DUI. And I ended up losing my job in December over that DUI, because my job required a driver's license. So I lost my job in December, a few days before Christmas. With a bachelor's degree, I tried to transfer to another position within the company that I feel I was qualified for. But they chose not to hire me for that. So, oh man, I have so much crap in my story. Okay, so they fired me. And remember how I told you guys that I'd tried to get my LPN license back? Well, I fought my state's Board of Nursing for a few years. I finally hired a lawyer, and this is all while I was still sober. And we had a hearing in front of some kind of commission that, was like a third party that, wasn't on one side or the other. So, and they had decided back in October that I was allowed to get my license back. So, here we are in December. I get fired from my job, and I'm very devastated over this. Very devastated. I tried to stay sober. I'd go a couple days, relapse, and they'd be big relapses, like binges. But I just kept trying. So I have no idea at this point how I'm going to live. I'm off disability. You get to keep it for 9 months, and go back to work, and you still keep it. But after that, if you're still working, it gets taken away. And I missed that, by a very small amount of time. So my disability is gone, and I'm fired from my job. I am trying to pay for my school myself, raise my kids by myself. My daughter's dad by this time is not helping at all. He's homeless and actively using amphetamine and living in his car. So I file for unemployment. I file my taxes, thinking I'm okay, and my taxes, I can pay my school with my taxes. I end up not getting hardly a dime for my taxes. No idea why. I guess I didn't pay enough because I didn't owe any money. Like I tried to figure out why I didn't owe any money, so I guess I must not have paid enough in to get my taxes back, or any. The year before I'd got quite a chunk, so it just felt like another kick in the stomach. So here I am. Okay, so I'm fighting my ex-employer for unemployment. And, while I'm trying to do all this, I'm still in school and I'm trying to stay sober. I go a few days, I relapse, I go on a bender for a few days. Like, it's insane. Around April, I started doing online AA meetings and I found a sponsor, but I'm still not able to stay completely sober. I recently found out that I was denied unemployment because during my active alcoholism, I ended up missing a court date. And so I'm not going to get unemployment because of that. I still intend to try to write them a letter and contest it. No unemployment, no income. In May, I took my state's licensure examination for my nursing to try to maybe get a job as a nurse. And I did that and I passed. So, and my license is currently on probation because of it being revoked and then the years of fighting. So it's on probation for 3 years. Basically, all I have to do for the probation is check in every day to see if I need to go take a drug test. And I just went and took a drug test yesterday. And once I passed my licensure exam, I started trying to get a job as an LPN. My hopes were shot down pretty quick because no one would hire me. And they told me, yeah, we can't hire anyone whose license is on probation. Whenever you get off probation, you're welcome to reapply and, we'd love to have you then. And I'm not off probation for 3 years, so that was out. Trying to get any other job with my bachelor's degree. A lot of jobs for bachelor degrees and like social type work, so that's out. I've been applying at other jobs, other places, fast food restaurants, grocery stores, nothing. So right now, I have, tomorrow will be 2 weeks that I have sober. And I also started taking another medication, and this one's for alcohol. And it's working really well. I haven't felt like drinking, which is great. And I have to stay sober anyway because of the drug testing, for the state board. So that's where I am. I'm getting ready to start my second year of my master's degree for counseling soon. I just finished the summer semester. I'm trying my best to hold on, but I have bills and I have no help. My daughter's dad, like I said, he's homeless, no job. He needs to go to rehab himself because he's very sick. So obviously he's not helping me at all. It's a mess. It's a mess and I'm doing my best. And so I'm just hoping that if this video can help anyone to just hold on, reach out. Don't live in shame and darkness. It is possible. Recovery is possible. A better life is possible. Please reach out to someone. Reach out to me if you want. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you're going through. I'd love to help.